know, I've had such a hard time catching a vision for Carson's room. Ever since we moved into this house back in 2021, his room has basically stayed the same. We did do a little bit of painting at one point because his room was pink when we first moved in. And we did all white walls with one orange accent wall because at the time, orange was his favorite color. But at the time, he was also like 4 years old. So things have changed, his interests have changed, and it's time for his room to really reflect his personality. So I'm really excited to finally be tackling his room in today's video. We're going to be decluttering, organizing, cleaning, painting, decorating, doing all the things. Most everything that I got for his room has come from Lowe's today. I'm actually getting to work with them for today's video, which is so cool. I have been shopping at Lowe's pretty much my entire life. So really excited to be working with them today. So let's talk a little bit about how the room looks currently and what my vision is for it before we get started. So right now the room has 3 white walls and 1 orange wall. It looks kind of dingy, it looks kind of dirty. I feel like the colors just don't go together. Nothing looks cohesive. So obviously I asked my son what color he wanted his bedroom and he said blue. I was pretty excited about that because you may know that most of my house is white and it's lacking color. So I was excited to work with color and I definitely wanted to go for more of a moody vibe in his room. But as for things that I picked up from Lowe's, so we have got all of our paint supplies here that we'll be using today. I grabbed a drop cloth, I grabbed a paint tray, paint rollers, a paintbrush, a 3-pack of paint tray liners, and then I'm really excited about this. I grabbed this mirror the other day and I think this is going to add so much light and make his room feel a little bit bigger. And then I also grabbed him some shelves that I'm really excited about because I think they're going to be a good match with his furniture color. I want the room to look clean. I want it to be cohesive. I want all the colors to look nice together, but I also want it to look kind of minimal. You guys know I tend to lean more towards minimal decor and I just don't want his room to be a cluttered disaster. Something I love about Lowe's is their affordable pricing. I feel like their pricing is so fair. I didn't want to spend $1 zillion on this makeover project. I want his room to look nice, but I also don't want to go bankrupt over it. So I knew Lowe's was the perfect place to shop. You can get free shipping at Lowe's if you spend over $45. So if you don't live near Lowe's, just keep that in mind if you'd like to place an order. You can also do same-day delivery if you live local to Lowe's and you place an order before 2 p.m. So that definitely comes in handy. I literally just placed this order. I think it was maybe 45 minutes ago and it's already at my door. So Lowe's same-day delivery is no joke. And then what I was doing for the most part was in-store pickup and curbside pickup. In the last couple of days, I think I've done 3 curbside pickup orders. Plus we did go in so that I could check out paint colors at one point, and Sutton was absolutely loving the Halloween display they have right now. So if you need some free entertainment for your children, head over to Lowe's. But I will link everything that I got from Lowe's in my description box down below, so be sure to check it out and let's just get into redoing Carson's bedroom. I'm so excited for this. We are going to start off by cleaning off this monstrosity on top of Carson's dresser. Somehow it always ends up like this. Well, I'm not a collector of really anything. My son is. He loves to collect sports cards and memorabilia, Pokemon cards, Nido cubes, shark teeth, that's what I was just cleaning up, and things like that. But he also has a tendency to collect random trash and find value in it somehow. I could throw away a tiny piece of paper and he'll ask me 2 weeks later what happened to it. I try to be mindful of that when I'm decluttering his space and be respectful of his things and what he finds important, but at the same time, we can't keep everything, and sometimes I do have to draw a line in the sand. So as I'm going through his dresser, I'm just trying to collect trash and get everything kind of organized back where it belongs if possible. You'll see we have a set of drawers on his dresser labeled Monday through Friday. My goal on this day was to eliminate the need to have that. We originally used it to organize his school clothes for every day of the week, but we haven't used it for that intended purpose in a really long time. Now the only thing it's good for is giving us a reason to hold on to more stuff that we don't need. It's a trinket magnet and it's a disorganized mess, plus it takes a ton of space on his dresser. Going back to my goals for his space, I want it to be peaceful and minimal. I don't want a ton of stuff cluttering up surfaces. So anything that's causing that, it has got to go. I did repurpose those drawers elsewhere in my house. They're currently helping to keep the kids' papers organized in the arts and craft cabinet, and they definitely are serving us much better there than they were in here. One tip that I have for decluttering your child's bedroom is to involve them when it's age appropriate and let them help make decisions. In this case, I'm not getting rid of anything crazy, but if I did come across something that I thought was questionable, whether or not he'd be okay with saying goodbye to it, I would just leave it and ask him later. With kids especially, it can take them a while to come to terms with getting rid of certain things, so be patient with your child if they're not on board with a declutter. Carson used to have a much harder time with this stuff, but we've taken baby steps over time and now he's pretty willing to let go of things. He does have his exceptions like his card collection and his stuffed animals, but he's made some serious progress and I feel good knowing I'm teaching him habits that will help him all the way into adulthood. I feel better knowing this is not as much of a disaster as it was, but I fear that we are gonna have to tackle this. That's a project for another day, so we'll come back for that. Now we're gonna work on doing some of the makeover before we get back to the decluttering and we do some decorating and all of that. So here are the before shots of his room, just so that you can get a really good look at what everything is looking like currently. I took some time to make sure to prep the walls, so I removed everything that was currently hanging on his walls. I took out all of the nails and screws. I patched up all of the holes in the walls, and then I went around and taped everything. Because I'm using such a dark color, I wanted to be especially careful and not get anywhere near any of the white trim with it. I was genuinely so scared to paint this room dark. I wholeheartedly believed that in a small home, all of the rooms needed to be painted bright because a dark color would only give the illusion that the room's even smaller than it is. Dark colors absorb light, which can make a space feel more enclosed, but is that necessarily a bad thing? In a bedroom, I don't think so. I think it can make the space feel more cozy. I definitely felt nervous making that first swipe of dark paint on the wall, but as I kept going, I could not have been happier with this color. The color that I chose is Academy Gray, and it's by Valspar, sold at Lowe's. It can appear kind of like a dark gray in some lights, but it has blue undertones for sure. 2 coats of this was perfect. It barely needed any touching up after that. I was nervous because the color looked light when I first poured it out of the paint can, but I'm just so relieved that it dried down to the perfect shade for his room, because after trying 5 samples, I was sick of looking at paint swatches trying to find the perfect one. Making over Carson's room of all the rooms in this house makes me especially happy because it's the one room in the house that I don't feel I've given the attention that it deserves. I've tried to make it cute. I've been pinning on Pinterest for years, but I just could not for the life of me turn it into something I felt proud of. And for that, I experienced a lot of mom guilt. I know that my kids don't care how their room looks at the end of the day, but I feel a responsibility as their mom to show them I love them in a variety of different ways, including the way their bedrooms look. It may sound silly to some, but I'm sure there are other moms or dads out there who understand what I mean by that. I was determined going into this project to style his room in a way that reflects his interest right now, but will also grow with him, and I totally feel that I achieved that. But another thing about making over his room, I'm not setting up a nursery for him or a toddler room full of dinosaurs and trucks, and that is so bittersweet. It was a huge reminder that he's just getting bigger and bigger and he's not my little baby anymore. Carson and I really kind of have grown up together. I was a younger mom when I had him at 24, so it just feels like we've come a really long way together, and something about redoing his room into his big kid room got me thinking about all of that, feeling a lot of feelings. There's not much I wouldn't do to go back and hug the little version of him again and hear his sweet little voice. I have been painting all day. I'm completely exhausted. The windows are open. If you hear a lot of traffic outside, we live on a busy street, as you know, but I'm really hoping the color is coming across accurate on camera. I love it in person. I think it's like the perfect boys' room color. Now that I've done the painting, tomorrow in the daylight, I'll do any touching up that I have to do, and then we're gonna start decorating and using some of the things that I got from Lowe's to really make this room pop. I feel like this angle right here gives you a really good accurate representation of the color. Oh my gosh, it looks so pretty. I love it. We grabbed these this morning from Lowe's. I got 2 of them, so I'm gonna attempt to hang these up. These I think are going to be a pretty close match to Carson's furniture, so I feel like really excited that they had shelves that are a close match so that I didn't have to spend my time staining, shelving, trying to make them myself. So let's open them up and see. Okay, so clearly this is lighter, but from a distance, I feel like it's gonna look pretty good. So I'm happy about this. I won't lie, this took me a couple attempts to get these shelves right. My stud finder was acting up. It was not accurately telling me where the studs were. It is getting old at this point, so maybe I just need a new one. But for that reason, I ended up putting these up and taking them down shortly after so that I could fix them. At first, I didn't use drywall anchors because the stud finder was a filthy no good liar and told me I was drilling into a stud, but I was not. But once I fixed that and added the drywall anchors, the shelves felt good and sturdy and looked awesome. They're exactly what I was looking for. I have a picture of Carson, his dad, and his grandfather that I love, and I wanted to turn it into kind of like a watercolor looking portrait and print that to place on the shelf in his room. So that's what I'm doing here using my photo printer, and I love how this turned out. It's just super special and looks perfect on his shelves. So I don't want to overly decorate his shelves because this is his room. So I am going to put a couple things up there that I think he'll like, that I like. But after that, I'm just going to let him kind of pick his own thing. But I've got this frame with a picture of him, his dad, and his grandfather who passed away a couple months ago to put on his shelves. And then I have a globe. I've always wanted to put a globe in his room, so I'm excited for this. I think it's so cute. And then yesterday I also grabbed him this new quilt for his bed because I feel like the green kind of clashes a little bit with like the blue of his walls, and I like this neutral for his bed, so I'm gonna throw that on there. And then I also hung up the mirror last night, and I got him an area rug, so we'll see if I can put this under the bed myself. I might have to wait till later though. This is the mirror hung up. I think it looks really, really great, and it definitely helps to bring in a little bit more light in the room and make this small room feel slightly bigger. Would you guys believe me if I told you I just flipped this bed frame completely by myself? I'm not sure if my child was using underneath his bed as a trash can, but it definitely seemed that way when I lifted the bed up. I could not believe how much trash I found under there. And you better believe that he had a talking to about that, because what the heck. But I swept all that up, got his floor all clean, and I attempted to put down this area rug. You can already tell that it's not big enough, that I definitely got the wrong size. And I was so proud of myself for doing this all on my own, but it ended up just having to be taken out and returned and a new one bought because it wasn't right. But it's fine, at least I can say I tried. I also did ask Carson if he could have his furniture anywhere in the room where he would want them, like if he'd want to move his bed or his dresser, and he wanted everything to stay exactly where it was, which is fine with me. It's okay. The only thing that's hard about it is that it does make making the bed difficult when it's up against the wall like this. So at some point I'll probably buy another Betty's set because those are so much easier to make the bed, especially when they're in a compromised position like this. So out of breath between making the bed and trying to put that rug down, but unfortunately the rug is too small. So I think I'm just gonna order the exact same one in a bigger size. This one was a 5x7. I was hoping it was gonna work, but I'm no expert at like rug sizes and stuff, so I tried that. I don't think that it's right, so I'm going to order the next size up. What is it, 8x10 or something? 8x11, I don't know. And then I'm going to see how that looks. But I think the color is spot on. I think like what I'm going for is there. It's just not the right size, but I will show you how it looks so far. So when you walk in the room, it doesn't look so bad with this rug here, but it's over here that it's just way, way, way too small. So I'm gonna have to order a bigger size, but I think that this color quilt looks really, really great. No, I didn't wash it yet. Yes, I am planning to wash it. I just really wanted to see how it all looks together. But I do like this area rug with the wall color and everything. I think it coordinates really well. It is just not the right size. She blends right in. But the shelves look great. The mirror looks great. The wall color. Got a lot of trash and stuff I gotta deal with, but so far I'm loving how his room is turning out. So I hung this up yesterday, and I feel like this is exactly what this wall was missing, and it screams like big kid room. So Carson is very excited about his football helmet above his bed. I do have something else coming that I had ordered online. It's like a hand-drawn photo of Gillette Stadium, which is where the Patriots play. That's our football team. And I think I'll probably hang that right there. I actually don't remember what size I ordered, so it kind of depends on that, but today we're going to hang up his special football cards display for him, and we're also going to declutter the closet, and then we should be almost done with the room. So pretty soon I can share the before and afters. I am loving the way that his room looks. I think it's just adorable and it fits his personality, and I'm loving having some color in my house. It's kind of making me want to repaint like every room in the house. And now we are back to the decluttering for a minute. This time it was mostly his closet I was focused on. You'll notice that his dresser is once again a complete disaster, but that is my fault because things got messy when I was painting and working in his room. So we'll take care of that. We'll get everything put away and we'll get rid of whatever we don't need in the process too. There was not much to get rid of on his dresser because I literally just did that. Most of the stuff was just things I was trying to get up off the floor when I was painting or just move out of the way when I was painting. So we're going to find homes for all those things and put them back where they belong now that we're all done with the painting. And since I had purchased Carson a new set of bedding, I knew it was time for me to get rid of a set of bedding. I try to follow the 1 in, 1 out rule, if not the 1 in, 2 out rule. So we're going to get rid of the space set since I was never a big fan of that anyway. And usually when I'm getting rid of bedding like that, I donate it to animal shelters because they're always looking for stuff like that for their animals. Another clutter magnet that's in his room is the behind the door storage system in his closet. While I love it and I think it's an excellent way to maximize a small closet, it can for sure collect some stuff that we don't need. The first thing to go was some massive rocks that he had shoved in there. He hadn't looked at them, talked about them, or anything since he initially found them. And I knew he wouldn't miss them, and the weight of them was actually damaging the storage system itself, so they had to go. Aside from the rocks, I got rid of mostly just random things like McDonald's toys he'll never reach for, pieces of things that neither one of us know what they go to. If you've never been on my channel before, I've been decluttering my house for the last 1.5 years, almost 2 years, and we're kind of at a point where all that I have to do is maintain. I don't have huge, massive declutters anymore because most of the big stuff is already gone. If there's anything in his room that I'd still like to change, I think it would be to remove the TV. He never uses it anyway. It's been mounted for years, but he literally never uses the TV. So I feel like it's just collecting dust and taking up space. But on the rare occasion that he does want to use it, I would feel bad that I took it out of his room. It's not necessary. He never uses it, but we do only have one living room in this house. So if, I don't know, my husband, for example, is watching a sports game that my son's not interested in, then it would be nice for him to have somewhere else to go to watch something that he wants to, but it's fine. We'll leave it for now. Maybe eventually he'll start using it. Neither one of my kids are big on TV. I feel like it's pretty rare that they're sitting down and watching a show. Like I could probably count on one hand how many times a month they actually sit and pay attention to what's on TV. But now we're just quickly going to hang back up Carson's special Tom Brady display of sports cards on his wall. I had to eyeball this because I couldn't find the level anywhere. And honestly, I think it's pretty level, so I'm proud of myself for that. The missing piece has arrived. This is the lamp that I ordered for Carson's room. Should we bring it in?
Yes.
Okay, can you carry it?
Me?
Yep. Do you think you can do it? No. You're so strong. Look at you. Look at how beautiful this is. I think this is going to be perfect in his room. This lamp has just seen better days. It's time for it to go. It's got a big old stain on the lampshade. It's kind of wobbly. It collects dust like nobody's business. I bought this when I was pregnant with Carson like 8.5, 9 years ago or whatever. So it's definitely done its time. And here's your reminder again of where we started, what his room looked like before. I feel like it was just a crazy mess. None of it made sense. The colors just looked terrible together. And I could not be more excited to share with you the afters of his room. It looks so much better. I just cannot believe it. It looks like a completely different space to me. He's super happy with it, which is obviously the most important thing. I'm so happy that I finally got this project done. It makes my mom heart just feel so full and so happy. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I will have everything linked down below that I purchased from Lowe's to make this possible. And I want to say another big thank you to them for partnering with me on this week's video. Thank you so much as always for watching. I hope that you'll come back again next week for another video. Be sure to leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think about this transformation. But that's all for me, and I hope I'll see you again next time.